Hey everybody, this is dHunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse DC Direct Mr. Bones. This is a gold label McFarlane Toy Store exclusive and a really deep cut in the DC universe. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, we got Mr. Bones here. He comes with what looks like 3 alternate hands, totaling 5 interchangeable hands. I see what looks like a display stand and a collector's card. At the back, I see it says, "Hell hath no fury like Mr. Bones." Here's the front of the box. Looks like this is the newest wave of page punchers. They're in the clamshell packaging. On the back, here's the old school classic Mr. Bones harassing some woman. And at the bottom, there's a barcode if it helps. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. We have a display stand, a collector's card, 6 interchangeable hands, and then sort of a replica of this old comic cover. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out this figure. He first appeared in 1985 at Infinity Incorporated number 16. He has a pretty fucked up backstory. So this is Mr. Bones. Dr. Benjamin Love, a gynecologist, injected 6 pregnant women with an experimental mutagenic drug. Each of the women gave birth to a metahuman child. Dr. Love kidnapped all the infants and raised them for himself. He never allowed them to leave the house. The children learned all they know from books, radio, and television. After the alleged death of Dr. Love, the 6 adults learned the true story of their origin by reading Love's diary. Taking cue from superheroes they'd watched on television, the 6 created costumes to go along with their names and formed a group called Helix. As you can probably guess, Mr. Bones was one of those 6 kids. They joined this group Helix and became pretty much a bunch of supervillains. Mr. Bones, later referred to as Director Bones, is a reformed supervillain who went on to lead the Department of Extranormal Operations. Despite his appearances, he is not a walking skeleton. Instead, he has transparent skin and flesh. That way you can sort of see his skeleton. So it's sure weird, and he damn sure looks like more of a villain, but I guess he is not one anymore. So let's take a closer look. Start with this head here. It is a skull, and it looks damn cool. The eyes are sunken in. He's got that sort of smile where his jaw is, the teeth exposed. And the skull is kind of a gray color. It's not exactly white. He's got this necklace with 2 sort of skull clasps or whatever. And he's got a hood, which is interesting because in the comic here, he definitely does not have a hood, but 2 large collars. And I swear they've included that with one of the Spawn figures from Call of Duty. He's got crossbones for his logo, big gloves and tall thigh-high boots, double-jointed elbows and double-jointed knees, cloth soft goods cape with a wire going on either side, all the way across the bottom, up the other side, and even into his hood. The body looks pretty plain and basic, and it definitely looks familiar. I'm sure it's reused from something we've seen before. We'll check that out shortly. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. And allegedly, he's got skin on top of the skull that's just transparent, and you can't see it, which is pretty weird. Although there's not much about this guy that isn't weird. The sculpt and paint are excellent. Love the head sculpt, especially the sunken-in eyes. And then, here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. So, first off, we have this display stand. Typical McFarlane display stand we've seen plenty of times before. Lately they've been putting the classic DC logo on there, and I'm pretty okay with that. I like that. Next, we have his collector's card. It's a replica of, I think, a cover of some comic with Mr. Bones. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Looks like this particular figure is of the villain version of Mr. Bones. And then we have this large thing here, which I'm not really sure why it even comes with this. Hell hath no fury like Mr. Bones. I am curious who's this woman. If anyone can educate me, drop me on the comments below. Typically the page puncher figures come with a comic. This is not a comic. This is like a fake comic. On the back side, it's black and white, the same thing, but it doesn't open. It's just a thick piece of cardboard. I hope that's not going to be the standard for page punchers moving forward. Maybe these aren't page punchers. I don't know. It says DC Direct on the front, and the packaging is like them, so I assume that's what he is. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 6 hands, 3 left hands, and 3 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here's his second pair of hands. These are a pair of flat, outstretched hands. Look like they could be some flight hands. But I don't think he can fly. In fact, what powers does Mr. Bones have? Well, he has 3 powers, 2 of which are extremely inconvenient to his daily life. Superhuman strength, transparent skin, flesh and organs that give him a skeleton-like appearance, and then a toxic cyanide-like sweat. At one point I read that some sort of animal bit his leg off, and then the animal died to the poison, and some of the other heroes helped him regrow his leg. And here's his last pair of hands. His right hand is a gripping hand with a trigger finger, and his left hand is an outstretched hand with the fingers completely outstretched, a little bit different than the sort of flight-type hands. Now to talk about his cape and hood. So, he's got this hood with a bendy wire in it, which can go up and down, which is a very cool feature. You can kind of put the hood up, although not all the way, and down, about that far, but it likes to sort of just pop back up. It is a cool feature, except for the fact that he doesn't have a hood. He's supposed to have this long sort of collar thing, and they've definitely done this with figures before. It just seems like, I don't know, maybe an oversight or gross error. He's got this sort of necklace thing, although it's really just sort of part of his cape. 2 little skull-type clamps on there. And then his cape has a bendy wire. As you can see, it can take different sort of poses, etc. It's got a bunch up at the bottom, has a bendy wire, and if you stretch it out, it goes out about that far, really, really far. So, one thing I like to do with wired capes is have it sort of flowing in the wind. Easy way to do that, take it, run it across your finger, run it across, say, the next finger, going back down, and then maybe back up. And his is a little bit weird because it has that bunched up bendy wire at the bottom. But here's a quick makeshift version of his cape flowing in the wind. And I could spend a little time making it better, but tell you the truth, it looks pretty good as is. Now to look at the reuse differences and similarities between Mr. Bones here and the existing figures that utilize his base body, which debuted with the Page Puncher Superman, but I think he shares in common maybe a little bit more with Wildcat than Superman. So let's take a closer look. Obviously, head's totally different. The torso and the stomach are going to be the same. You can see that little wrinkled parts here, and he has the exact same there. The arms are going to be the same until you get down to where his wrap is. He has different gloves on top, and that's just an extra piece. If you take the hand off, you can actually slide that right off. The diaper piece is the same, just a little bit extra paint for the belt. And the legs, they're at least the same at the top. I can see the same wrinkles on the inner thigh on both the figures, but then he has the extra sort of boot things on top. As you go further down, it looks like the bottom of the leg is the same, as well as the feet. So a lot of similarities, and I think it works. It works for a good, blank, lean base body. There are a total of 15 of these figures utilizing this base body, and really, I'm okay with pretty much all of them. I think it's a nice, lean, blank canvas base body. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 7.2 inches tall, which can translate to just over 18 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, it can rotate side to side. He can look up and down a pretty good amount. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes up more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got this butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest. Increase the range of motion and cover the large gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows that go all the way in. His wrist can rotate and it's hinged, although the sort of little sleeve thing here really makes it not usable. He's got a ball joint in his torso. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion. Legs, complete of splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is minimum at best. Legs go forward, about that far. Back, not at all. Double jointed knees, and his ankle. Forward and back. Rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. And now I'll switch to a church type setting for the next part. Here's a look at Mr. Bones in a church-type setting. I don't know, seemed kind of appropriate to me. Now let's check them out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other skeleton-themed figures. Here he is, next to Lord Deathman. This is a Batman villain, a little more obscure, and has a similar Mr. Bones-type vibe. Here he is with a couple of Blight figures, which out of that dome have sort of a skull-like head. Then, with the DC villain, Atomic Skull. Here he is, next to a custom Dr. Phosphorus, another obscure Bat Rogue. He was in the recent animated show Creature Commandos. And here, with a custom Dr. Destiny, another DC villain. And here, with some Four Horsemen Studios Skeleton Warriors. These would actually make some really good henchmen for Mr. Bones. And here he is, with a couple of NECA Creepshow Creep figures. Now let's check him out next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Restless Wave. These are both McFarlane Toy Store exclusive gold label figures. We have Mr. Bones and Obsidian, some deep cuts into the DC universe. Here's Mr. Bones with the Target exclusive gold label Mr. Miracle and Sandman. And here he is with some recent McFarlane variants. Patina Wonder Woman, San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Gold Hush Batman, Black and White accent Dark Knight Returns Superman, and Frostbite Crystal Dawn Robin. Then, next to the recent McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Dark Stars, Dark Archer, Metron, Kite Man, Deathstroke, and Mirror Master. Desperately on the hunt for both the regular and Platinum versions of Beast Boy. If anybody can point me in the right direction, or possibly can help me out, please drop me a line in the comments below. It is much appreciated. And now, with the most recent Batman wave, Troika Batman, Kenner Homage Azrael, and Luke Fox Batwing. And now, with the 4th digital wave, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the No Man's Land Batman, Monarch, Disco Nightwing, and a spoiler. Here's Mr. Bones, next to the green and yellow Rainbow Batman figures. And here he is, with the most recent wave of Page Punchers, Golden Age Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, and then the regular and Platinum versions of Superboy. Then, with the Ross exclusive 3 Jokers Batman, Hush Superman, and James Gunn movie Superman figures. And now, with some McFarlane cover recreations, Kingdom Come Superman, Dark Knight Returns Batman, and the infamous Stolen Killing Joke Joker. And finally, with the Dark Knight's Metal, Merciless, and the Batman Laughs 2-pack. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they are typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and then work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale, and now with some Jack-specific wrestling figures and Diamond Select toys. Here's Mr. Bones, next to a container of Rainbow Sherbert, and here he is with some DC Direct and NECA figures, then with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures, and now with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures, next with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends, and finally with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a pretty cool figure. I love getting these obscure deep cuts into the DC universe. I personally have never heard of Mr. Bones in any way, shape, or form. There's a lot of things I like about this figure, and there's some things I don't like. I actually don't mind the base body reuse. I love the head sculpt, it is fantastic. I don't like the cape. Whenever they do the bendy wire at the bottom of the cape, it always just fucks it up. It just makes it all bunched up and look weird. And then the hood, he shouldn't even have a hood. They could have done a way better job on that, just giving him a plastic cape and a plastic collar. Even though I know so many people hate plastic capes at this point, are spoiled by cloth wired capes for him. I swear one of those Spawn figures from Call of Duty had the same sort of popped collar as cloth soft goods, and it didn't quite come out as well as I'd like, but more accurate and better than this guy's hood. This guy's hood doesn't even go all the way up, and it doesn't even stay all the way down. The sculpt and paint job are pretty nice. The accessories, he doesn't really have any besides hands. And articulation is everything you'd expect. If I were to rate this figure, I'll give him a solid 7 out of 10. If the cape and hood and collar stuff was a little better, he might get an 8. I really like the way his face and head looks, and I love getting obscure villains. So this is dHunter. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate you do that. Once again, this is dHunter. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.